You're listening to the Luxe Life Discovered podcast, where we talk with people who are living a lifestyle that reflects their passion, because we believe everyone should be living their best life, their Luxe life. The show is hosted by Rick Steiner with Steiner Event Group, a premier national event planning company, and co-hosted by Shannon Richmond, the Vice President of the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notifications of future episodes. The show is produced by 30A Media and is broadcast on your favorite podcast outlets, as well as YouTube, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TVs, and other major brand smart TVs.
Hello, I'm Rick Steiner with Steiner Event Group, and we're back with another episode of Luxe Life Discovered. And Shannon Richmond from the Panama City Beach Chamber is my co-host today. And Shannon, we're glad you're back with us.
I'm glad you're allowing me to be back.
I know. I always say you're back with us. You're just part of the group. It's like,
right.
It's the way it should be. And our guest today is Kathi Heapy, who is with the Emerald Coast Fitness Foundation. So welcome, Kathi.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, great. Glad to have you. So tell us a little bit about Emerald Coast Fitness Foundation.
We didn't exist until 2015 when the Emerald Coast YMCA went bankrupt and abandoned the two competition-worthy pools in Fort Walton or in Okaloosa County. And in response to that, the government, the city didn't do anything, county didn't do anything, and we had a community of swim-related families that were very concerned. It was a huge loss for us, and so we basically banded together and formed a nonprofit foundation, raised the money, and partnered with in Fort Walton with the Liza Jackson Prep School, and then in Destin with Maddie Kelly Arts Foundation to get leases on the pools and to operate them. And our mission the whole time has been to operate those pools for the public with no debt. And the model was always that people will pay to swim, and so we can make enough revenue to pay the costs of the pools and make these pools available to the community, which that's what we've been doing, both in terms of providing the pools for the swim teams at the high schools and the middle schools and the year-round club, and now a master's team as well as offer swim lessons, which once the YMCA shut down, there were a few privately offered very expensive lessons, but they're just without a facility in places. There was very little places for kids to swim, especially underprivileged kids. Then also there was a huge community of fitness people who used aquatic fitness, both the aquasizers, senior citizens who use aquasize as their only method of fitness, as well as social interaction. That was a huge loss for them. They were very loyal at the YMCA to their aquasize program, so they were devastated by the loss of the pools. And then also a lot of people that would just swim for fitness. There was one young man, his mother was a teacher at my kid's school, and he was blind, and he would come every other day. I think it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. He would come and swim at the pool in Fort Walton, and he'd pull himself along the lane line, and someone would blow a whistle, and right before he got to the end of the wall, and he'd turn back, and he'd do that for 2 hours.
Wow.
Every time. So when the pool shut down, he had no place to exercise or get.
And I'm sure that wasn't the only story like that.
Exactly. There were lots of those stories.
Yeah.
So we got it going in Fort Walton. December of 2015, we opened up the Bernie R. Lefebvre Aquatic Center, thanks to a big donation from the owners of Gary Smith Ford, and they named it the Bernie in honor of the wife of the owner of Gary Smith Ford, Sharon Smith, whose father was Bernie Lefebvre, who was a well-loved swim coach in the area many years ago. So, and opened it up to we have every hour of the day programmed for different activities that people pay to participate in. Lap swim, swim team activities, aquasize, lessons are our primary focus. Our goals are to keep our swim team swimmers viable and successul, and that's working. The teams are growing. We're adding teams at additional schools that are competing. Also and we have our high school swimmers are going on to swim in college. Good things are happening with those groups, but also providing fitness opportunities for our senior citizens and water safety for our not just young people, we have adults that take lessons, but water safety is a huge goal of ours. So we've got a scholarship program, and we're just doing everything we can to
So
get
it's not-
swim lessons to more people.
Right. And it's not just a pool that's open so somebody can come enjoy it when they want to.
Correct. You have
right,
to
yeah.
you have to be part of a program. And that was when we started doing this, that was part of the concept people couldn't get out of their minds. Everybody saw that pool with 300 people in it that, we all knew growing up as kids or whatever in our home communities. That can't work. Yeah. But when we program so that everybody who needs to use it in a particular way can use it that way successfully with, in a clean, safe facility with lifeguards, it's working very, very well and filling a huge need in the community.
Well, and generating income to keep the operation costs.
Yes.
So that's,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So are you lifeguards?
Mm-hmm.
Are you having trouble getting lifeguards? That seems to be like on the beaches, that's an issue. It seems
yes.
Like. Yeah, so.
Beach lifeguarding and pool lifeguarding are very different.
Well,
we have some kids that
yeah.
have done both. Our manager of our Fort Walton facility recently became certified as a lifeguard instructor. So we've been able to train several of the kids, like we get the kids that come up through the swim team programs. Right, they're kind of a natural progression into lifeguarding. So we have several of them. Finding older adults, and we have some folks that are not semi-retired, but have been involved with swimming for years, either as swim parents or whatever, that have joined our program, become lifeguard certified, and they're a huge asset to us because they, of course, bring the maturity and sensibility that some of the young people don't have, but they are wonderful. But a large part of it is you have to buy into what we are doing, and you got to love our program and our mission.
That's great. I haven't thought about this in years. It's funny how things pop in your mind when you're talking about something. We had a pool, growing up, and so I swam, and I thought I was really a good swimmer. My freshman year in college, I was Sigma Chi, and we had, the intramural meets. Mm-hmm. And this guy, for some reason, couldn't do it, and he had to do the breaststroke. I thought, I'll jump in and do it. I almost died, because these guys were like, competed, had swim teams in high school,
mm-hmm.
and we didn't have that.
You were at home thinking you were,
I'm thinking,
all that.
Never again. I would embarrass myself big time. I thought I'd be like the hero to save the fraternity, for being ashamed, but no.
But still, swimming is still a lifetime sport, and even the kids that aren't that good at it can still do it later on as adults. And if they're rehabbing an injury, or they've got, acquired a condition that they can't bear weight or they can't do anything else, always swim. And so that is just so important that those kids have that to go back to as they get older.
Well, then you mentioned the senior citizens too, and it's great that they have that because it's less stressful on the joints, right?
Yes, the aqua size is great activity for them. It's physical, muscular challenge and activity, as well as cardiovascular exercise. And again, for them, a lot of it is social. These people are good friends. They go out to lunch, and that may be all they do. Is outside of home. They go from home to the pool and maybe the grocery store and the doctor's office, and that might be all they do. But it's important to them.
Out there, you're networking with other people.
Absolutely.
And it's getting a lot of people out that may not otherwise get out.
Exactly.
Which is good.
Exactly. When we were shut down for COVID and things like that, it was a struggle. We actually we stayed shut down for a month, and then we did reopen on a real restricted basis. But a swimming pool is about the safest place you can be.
But I bet they were the loyal ones to
many of them were. Many of them
were.
Ready. They were ready. They were pounding on the doors. So yes, we were happy to have them back. They had told us when the pools were shut down, when the YMCA shut down, they said it was like a death in their family. They really missed that activity. And they told us that at a Christmas party that they had all organized as a group. So they were a very tight-knit group.
Right into, this wasn't your plan. This is my goal. This is what I'm going to do.
No, I was a swim coach. I was a swim parent, business person in town. And all this blew up, and people, for some reason, started looking at me and my husband and another couple. And we were both saying the same things, is we can get this community together and make this happen. And we were both very like-minded about how we thought the pools could operate. So we sat down at a kitchen table in January of 2015 and formed the foundation, and then just started. And it was largely the swim community, largely swim teams, kids we had coached, parents of kids we had coached and were currently coaching, people we had swum with, things like that.
Right.
And that's who really got on board and supported us. And then the rest of the community has come along. Even the city governments now see the value of what we're doing. And so when we make requests, they are donating some money, throwing some money our way to help support our
But there's a huge
projects.
advantage about it being established the way it was established rather than going other avenues,
Probably it's less restrictive.
right?
Unlike the YMCA, the YMCA was all about membership based. We are program based. So you come and participate in the lap swim program or the
You just don't show
aquasize
up, I wanna go
program.
swimming.
Right. But we have a lot of lap swim time available. So if you plan a little bit correctly, you can do that a lot.
How many people
We,
like in a week go through?
The Fort Walton pool, gosh, on a given day, we probably have 50 or 60 different, people
In a
come
day?
through. We're open from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. We have people
Oh.
come in for
That's-
lessons. We have swim team kids there.
Wow.
So there is something happening in the pool just about every hour of the day.
Yeah,
We
I
have
know.
some times left open that are, for pool rentals. So there may be days when there's nothing that day going on there, but then we have a group that comes in and he trains potential military members who want to improve their aquatic skills to get qualified for special ops training and things like that. He rents the pool from us
Never
twice
thought
a
about
month
that,
and
yeah.
does that. A lot of our military folks are coming in and swimming with us because the base pools are closed. And a lot of times they come in pairs or groups because one of them is a good swimmer and the others are not. And so they're helping their buddies increase their abilities and to swim.
I
and-
guess I'm
Is
not
it-
in the swimming world, so I don't know all of this. It sounds like
I know.
it's just so big and it's so involved. And
It is.
I guess if you were into swimming, you would know all these things. So it's so awesome to hear that there is that.
it's not
group.
just
a
the pool
lot.
open,
Right.
like I originally thought. Yeah,
Right.
It's,
No,
it's a
it's
plan,
a-
and I never thought about it being that organized and detailed in
Right.
the planning. So yeah.
It-
But then you have some experience yourself with playing water polo, because that was what kind of got my attention
Yes.
on this to begin with. So it's fun to learn and to learn more about things that I never thought about. But the water polo, I just thought, man, that's really interesting, here in this area. And then to find out that you played in,
Well, it's a wonderful sport. I played in high school, which was many years ago, but we acquired some water polo goals, and they sit over there on the pool deck at the Destin pool, and weren't really doing anything. We had a young man, and we've had a couple over the years, but we had a young man come to us about a year and a half ago who had grown up in California and played, and he was had played at Annapolis at the Naval Academy, and he was now at the EOD school, and he was talking to the manager at the Destin pool about, hey, I see you have water polo goals. Does anybody ever play? And he said, well, no, not really, but we'd
careful
love
what
to
you
try to
ask, 'cause
get
you may be the organizer, yeah.
something together. So he actually stepped up to be kind of our little organizer, and it still is that. It's still casual. We meet on Sundays from 11 to 2, and whoever shows up, shows up. We've got a few regulars. The goal ultimately is to get high school water polo going here. It's very strong in South Florida, but north of about Lakeland or so, there's no high school water polo. There's pools and there's swimmers and there's even divers, but there's
How
no high
hard
school
is
water polo.
Water polo. How strenuous? I mean,
we don't need to do it.
Oh,
Okay?
I'd love for everybody to try to do it. It is hard. It's a wonderful workout.
how do you do
Oh, I'm
it?
sure.
You tread water. You're supposed to not touch the bottom. Our pool in Destin is 5 feet deep at the ends and 6 feet in the middle. So you can go over to the side and touch, and the big tall guys can touch all the time.
Right.
I get on them about that. But mostly you're treading water, and then you can handle the ball with one hand. So you're shooting and passing with one hand. And then it's kind of like soccer, where you're passing to teammates
And then
to
getting in
ultimately get the
position,
ball in
yeah.
a goal. The the defending of it is very physical. And there's rules about things you can't do, but
So you're not supposed to touch the bottom of the pool?
right. You're not supposed to,
Now, you
not when
say-
you have the ball,
Right.
but the
Oh,
rest
when
of the
you're
time you
defending it, you can?
no.
As long as no one's around you.
Yeah, as long as no one's around, you're not playing the game. You can put your foot down if you're tall enough. But see, at 6 feet deep, you can't touch the bottom. So, in high school, we played in the diving well. It was 12 feet deep. So it's not an option.
I couldn't imagine.
So
That's a
in
lot.
No,
college,
it
I
is,
played intramural water polo where they did it in inner tubes, which is a lot easier.
Well,
Well,
But
yeah, because you're way
everybody's floating. But
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it was so hard. That was the great equalizer. I thought I was all that and a bag of chips, and then they put me in an inner tube, and I was just like everybody else, whether I'd played before or not. But
Wow.
we are.
Oh, that's hilarious.
We are trying to expose it to the kids. Now that high school swim season's over, we're hoping to get more of the high school swimmers involved because it's a spring sport in the Florida
Okay.
High School Association.
I didn't realize high schools in Florida even had water
Yes,
polo.
down south it's very popular. And a friend of mine from college who played on our college club team is now the head coach at Winter Park High School. And they've got a very strong program and history in there. So he's going to be my go-to guy when we get where I
That's so
really
cool.
have something for him. So
Oh.
we've got a couple of kids have come into it. I've got a couple of regular attendees that played on their national teams in Eastern Europe, and so they're very good. They're
Right,
very
so-
good teachers. You've got to have the people there with the skills to teach.
True,
But then
yeah.
you've also
Unless
got to
you
have
put
the
us in the pool.
then you've got to have the learners as well. So
Right.
we usually have a pretty good combination of those. And depending on who's there and who shows up, we will have a more instructional session. Or if everybody that's there is pretty experienced, we'll just grind it out and play for a while and
Wow.
And have fun. It's a good workout.
They would use us as the examples,
Yeah,
but
what not to do,
right,
what to-
right.
We could put little float belts on you, and then I
Oh,
think
that
you'd
might
be
be
far
all right.
more
Sure.
comfortable. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could do it.
That'd be all right. That's awesome.
Oh,
So
my
are your
goodness.
pools open every day?
Yes.
And at 5 a.m.?
The Fort Walton Pool opens at 5 a.m. and closes at 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. On
unreal.
Saturdays, they start at 6 and go to 5. And Sundays, I think they start at noon and go to 5.
And there's a program every day from
Yes.
what time, what in.
Yes. Our
Wow, that's just amazing to me. That,
our calendar, our schedules are all color coded, very elaborate, and they're on our website at
And so
ecfitnessfoundation.org.
do you go to sign up for a program?
Yeah, you buy a monthly pass.
Okay.
And that monthly pass will allow you to come to all the lap swim that month for $45 or $50, depending on which pool you're at. We also have weekly passes for the Destin pool because we have so many visitors that come
Right.
in that are here on business for a week or on vacation for a week and need to keep swimming. So we've been selling the weekly passes are $25, and they can come as many times as they want during the assigned lap swim times.
so for the high school swim teams, how many would you say participate in that are part of your program?
Well, we host the practices for Fort Walton, Choctaw, and Destin high schools in our pools, and then we've also hosted some meets. But
I didn't think about the meet.
yeah, we host the meets, and that's the thing. That was the big problem, was that like Blue Water has some pools and things, but the pools in Destin and Fort Walton are the only competition legal with starting blocks, proper depths, proper size, 25 yards. All the proper regulation stuff. And a lot of people just like to swim for exercise in a measured pool, so they know exactly how much they're doing,
Right.
how much yardage they're
Yep.
getting, as well as having lifeguards and things like that. People tell us, "Oh yeah, I tried to swim at the pool at my condo, and you're going around little kids, and it's just."
Yeah.
He said, "Oh no, it's
There's
just
no time you
crazy.
go, it's time
They
to
are
come
willing to
around,
pay
yeah.
money to come and swim where they have their own lane, a lane line up and down, a lifeguard watching, nobody
Also, there's
jumping
a lifeguard
in.
all the time.
Always, yes,
Interesting.
yes."
Well, the pool that was named after one of your
My
Yes,
dear
your
friend
friend,
Taj,
yes,
that's the
yes.
Taj Renee Community
tell
Aquatic
us
Center
about,
in Destin, and
because it
that's
used to be just a Destin Aquatic Center.
yes,
Yeah.
like, yes. When we were waiting for
Right.
a name and a big sponsor to come along, this past spring in May, we had our first, hopefully annual Sip and Splash Aquatic event, and we
Sip and Splash?
Sip and
I
Splash,
knew that was gonna
and
get your
it was
attention.
a big fancy event that was put on by a professional event planner, Jessica Profit, and did a fabulous job of putting on a big fancy dinner on the pool deck at the pool. We put in all lighting and decorations, and had wonderful sponsors from local restaurants that donated food. Several, and we did it in separate courses, so you got different tastes from the different restaurant sponsors. It was open, or there was a bar. I guess it was open bar, and we had silent auction,
Sounds
and
like the duck
prizes.
races that they do in Panama City
Yeah,
Beach for Beach Care Services.
Yeah, it's
similar to that.
It was like that. It was a wonderful evening. And since we were planning that event, all of that, I decided that would probably be the best time for us to unveil a name for our facility. And because I'd been planning on putting the name on it, but had been kind of waiting for the right event at which to do it. And I was afraid if we just said, we're going to have a naming opportunity, about 7 people would show up.
Social or
Yeah, so
something.
Sip and Splash turned out to be a wonderful success, raised us a lot of money and awareness in the community. It tapped into a community and some people that don't usually come to the pool or aren't maybe usually always aware of the pool, as well as honoring and involving our regular pool community. It was a wonderful combination of both. We created and initiated the Okaloosa County Swimming and Diving Hall of Fame that night, and initiated 5 new members. There were people that have done amazing things. Yeah, it was a big, beautiful night. So we're looking forward to doing it again this May.
And so you revealed the name?
We revealed the name. I had Taj's parents came and stayed with us that weekend, and so they were there and just were incredibly pleased and proud, and I adore them. They were like my parents.
So what's the name now?
The Taj Renee Community Aquatic Center. Taj Renee means, that was her name, Taj Renee Oliver Brown, means love reborn. And so I thought that was perfect since we,
What a fantastic.
so now we call it the Taj, basically. So we have the Taj and the Bernie, and then we also have, in 2021, we acquired a lease on a pool that is in Crestview at the Central Baptist Church Recreation Outreach Center. And so it's called The Rock. And we were able to have good summers of swimming up there. It's outdoor pool, so the wintertime's not as good out there, but good summers of getting started up there.
Well, it's so neat to see because I mean, you can, when you're talking, just to see your passion about what,
I am
and so
frequently
nice
accused of so much of that. Yes.
No, it's awesome.
No, that's
It
great.
is very, very close to my heart.
Yeah. So are you from this area originally?
No, sir, I'm an Air Force brat.
Well, that's
proudly.
okay. Yeah.
And grew up living overseas. I played water polo
That's
in
really
the
the
Philippines.
Philippines, you're right, yeah.
And that's where I graduated high school. Came back to the States to go to college at Indiana. And then I came down here after college. Was just going to be here for a short time. And then I said, I need to do what I know how to do. Got a job coaching swimming at the old YMCA, and had the wonderful opportunity to volunteer with helping with the high school team at 5 a.m, which I did.
You back in,
and literally met my husband on that pool deck.
Oh, really?
Yes, 30.
And you're still going to the
And
pool
we're
tonight.
still on that pool deck, and we're still married, and 34 years.
That is
So
great,
so
yeah.
it's just in my
Does he
blood.
love swimming just as much
Yes,
as
he's
you
a
do,
swimmer.
Jill?
He was a swimmer at Georgia Tech,
Okay.
and I was a swimmer at Indiana. So it's just he is now a certified USA swimming official. So he and I really work running swim meets quite a bit. We got to do one in Pensacola this weekend. We're also both involved in masters swimming, so we go out and practice
This is a whole new
in the
world to me.
morning.
I'm
Yeah,
loving
and
hearing
see,
it.
this is my world. So
Right.
it's
I
funny
love that
for
you're
me to
sharing
think
with
that
us.
people are so don't know about it, because
Right.
it just seems like that's all there is to me. But you're
yeah.
right. It is so unknown to so many people. But it's a great world. We love living in it, and we love living down here, and being at the pools and working on the pools, having something that we care about that is beneficial to so many people.
love
We
it.
feel like it's our mission.
I'm so
and-
excited that we have different guests, because just so amazing. It just opened my world
Yes.
about that.
Yes.
And it'll open everybody else's world when
I
they
hope
get
so.
to hear it that don't know about swimming.
I hope so.
Well, and like we had talked about either email or I think it was through email. My initial attention to was water polo because thinking that's not in this area, so it's kind of cool.
Oh,
But then
yes,
to
it
learn
is.
about everything else, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
that's
the bonus.
yeah.
The polo is a small,
Right,
fun
and every time
portion
they-
of what we're doing, and we're trying to grow it. And it's amazing how many people will show up, especially like guys that are here in the Navy, or people that are visiting that grew up in California and played. They
Right.
play it from, as soon as the pacifier comes out of their mouth, they start playing water polo in California. But so it's been fun seeing them coming out. The Navy guys unfortunately graduate from their classes and leave, but or they're here just for short periods of time. But we've enjoyed having them, and I'm loving exposing it to new people. There's a guy that is he's a high school swim coach, and he swims masters with us, and he came and tried polo, and he was a very successful swimmer here for Choctaw High School, went on to swim in college, and he came to play polo with us one day. He's like, man, he said, if they had this, I'd have done polo instead of swimming. Now, a lot of athletes do both. A lot of kids that you meet.
Challenging.
But it's a great way to use your swimming skills and you're not really good at ball sports, which I'm not.
Skills.
Yeah, but it's quite a workout. I wore my watch one day through the whole workout, and it registered 3,700 yards and burned 1,465 calories or something. It was
my word.
It was a lot, and I will admit, at my age, it takes me 24 hours to recover. I'll be honest with you, midday Monday, I'm finally kind of back.
But you do recover, though. That's
I do
good.
recover,
So, yeah.
and the recovery period has gotten a little shorter, and I've gotten a lot stronger and healthier from it. So
Man, that's awesome.
yeah, it's great. But even the Masters swimming is great if you don't want to get out there and throw balls around. We have a Masters swimming program that for all ages over 18, and as much or as little as you want, and as intense or not as you want. It's great.
Well, I say this, like the what we're talking about with you is what this whole podcast was designed to do, is to learn more and expose people to more about the whole Gulf area. And when we get a chance to learn things that we didn't expect to learn,
We got to have you come to the pool.
Yes, well, we'll be on
We're
the
going to be
deck.
there for the survival course.
So, well, I tell you what, if you will, we appreciate you being here today. So just look at the camera and give your website and information so people can, follow up with you.
Again, we are the Emerald Coast Fitness Foundation. Our website is ecfitnessfoundation.org. And we are on Facebook at Emerald Coast Fitness Foundation, Taj Renee Community Aquatic Center, Bernie Lefebvre Aquatic Center, the Rock Pool are all on Facebook and Instagram. And we have
you're
emails.
a nonprofit.
And we are a nonprofit. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. We appreciate donations tremendously. So if you planning your budget for donations next year, we do serve the entire community. We're not religious-based or connected to any particular other faith-based or political organization or anything like that. We're completely.
You're swimming.
We're just swimmers. We're just swimmers.
Well, great. Well, Kathi, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it so much. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Luxe Life Discovered.
Check out Luxe Life Discovered on Facebook and Instagram and on 30a.tv. See you next time on Luxe Life Discovered.